Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a show vlog, but I'm going to start with just a small explanation on what we were dealing with leading up to the show. So I haven't posted on here since the 5th of September. I just double checked my YouTube. And we were getting ready for a schooling show that was going to be in Woodside, California on September 18th and 19th. So it basically just happened like a week ago. And leading up to that, we kind of ran into our old issues of stopping at fences, not being able to make full courses, like a lot of things that I think are stemming from me bracing in the saddle and then Happy's lack of confidence. So the next clips that I'm going to talk over are going to be the clips of the two rides just prior, like weekend rides, that was my dog, just prior to leaving for the horse show. So let's get into that. So this is the kind of stopping that we were dealing with. It was almost like it was pre-planned on Happy's part. And I think what was happening and what I've come to realize, at least even through this past weekend, was that every time that I lean just a little bit forward or really push with my lower leg in the saddle, he stops. So this was just like, I think the last 2 weeks leading up to the show, and I was really worried that we weren't going to make it over anything, and I had signed up for the 60 centimeter classes, and I just didn't think we were going to make it, and it was really starting to stress me out quite a bit. That one he was legitimately scared at, so I wasn't too upset about that because that was very frightening. And the horse that we were riding with kept stopping at that fence, so I think he thought there was probably something that was going to eat him under it, but he did go over it eventually. So it was just getting really annoying because we were having to take vertical fences down, make them like half crosses or full crosses. He kept wanting to like go to one side or the other or just directly stop right in front of it and just not go over the fence. And like, see here, I'm like, you need to turn in front of this, and we were having this fight. And that was kind of what the last 2 weeks before the show was, is that we were getting into these fights with each other, my nerves embracing, and then him just not understanding why there was so much like pressure. And of course the pressure came from the show and the impending need to perform. So it kind of led us down a little bit of a rough patch, which did help us ultimately. We worked through it, but it just wasn't great. And so here you see like he's just not coming in straight to the lines and then stopping. And like there was no reason why he should have stopped at that cross rail. I know that I probably leaned forward. I think I did lean forward into it, but like there was no reason. Like he could have easily jumped over that. So this was like what we were dealing with, and it was very frustrating and hard to deal with right before a horse show. So we got to the horse show on Friday. I tried to make his stall as exciting as possible, which was bringing a Uncle Jimmy's Licky Thing refill that I didn't use at the barn, so he'd have that to chew on. I tried to hand walk him a lot and get him out of his stall just because he was in a 12 by 12 stall, which he lives in a 12 by 16 stall like at night and is in turnout all day. So I tried to get him out and walk him around a lot and let him see everything, and it was really nice because we had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we had 3 days, basically, or 2.5 days, of seeing the property and getting used to everything. And I have to say that he was quite a pro, honestly, in the warm-up. I was not worried at all about showing, and I didn't think that there was going to be an issue. The only issue we had was he refused to go over vertical fences in the warm-up on Friday, and so we decided to scratch the 60 centimeter jumpers and to go directly just to cross rails and do Hunter's cross rails. So we kind of switched our weekend around a little bit, but other than that, like, I thought we were going to be fine. Everything was going to be smooth sailing. So yeah, not smooth sailing. In the warm-up, he totally lost it. He completely lost his mind. Like, he was totally fine in all of my other prior warm-ups, but literally the warm-up right before we were going to go in the show ring, he started to leap into the air and spin and buck and do all the things that he did at other shows at the eventing derby. And so I thought, great, this is wonderful. I don't even want to show him because I'm scared that I'm going to come off of him because he's so wound up. So we were able to take him out of the warm-up arena, take him to another arena because this place had like a bajillion arenas, and get him to calm down. And we brought him back into the warm-up, still same, just insane, could not focus. Every time I asked him for forward, it was like I was literally beating him over the head with something, and obviously I wasn't doing that. So we went back to the barn, got his best friend, and brought his best friend back up to the arena, and then went in and did the cross rails. And I'm actually quite proud that he made it as far as he did, and that he was pretty willing to jump the cross rail, had no issues. Just as soon as he realized that my ask was he needed to go right away from his best friend and not go back left to his best friend, he was like, no thank you. So my goal really was just to get out there and to jump the first fence and then retire if he was unable to continue. And so that's basically what I did. And then Stephanie called from the gate and was like, why don't you try to just do the outside line really quick and come back? And as you see, after this, that did not happen. But we tried, and we left after that, and I was pretty upset. I was pretty upset that we couldn't get through the course, and it was embarrassing, and I was really frustrated and really sad and a lot of things, angry, a lot of feelings. So I really wanted to scratch everything and just not show on Sunday, but after I got initially over my anger, sadness, frustration, Stephanie convinced me to scratch my 3 60-centimeter jumping classes and add a trot poles, so literally a little kid class, and 2 cross rails, so the hunter cross rail and the egg cross rail, and just play it by ear and see how each of those classes went, and then if the one prior went well, then we would continue. So that's what you're about to watch now is Sunday, us going into the trot poles class and trying really hard not to ask him for too much, but to pressure him a little bit to get into a trot. Okay, so I went in there, I tried to have a really loose rein and just let him have his head so he didn't feel trapped, and tried to just let him walk. And it came to Stephanie basically told me at this point, like, you need to take a little more contact. So I did. It took just a little bit more so that he would have a little bit more of a barrier to go. So this was a very long course because I walked the first part of it. So we have to go all the way around to, he was already like, I don't think so. So basically I had to go around to this fence over here. It was a single. And just wanted him to understand that all he had to do was go out there and walk around, and if we could get him to trot, we would. If not, whatever. So I get him over this pole, and I honestly feel like once he got over this pole, he was like, oh, that's all I'm supposed to do? And like, it was almost like he was like just really confused as to how that could be so simple. So here you see I'm starting to ask for a little trot, and I'm doing it super slow. So little squeezes, little squeezes, little squeezes, and we just keep working our way until we finally get enough energy to trot. Normally, in a normal situation, I would have pushed him to trot like immediately, but in this situation, I was like, let's just let him take his time. And he got really worried over here because he was by himself. There was no horses, there were no people, but he really kept it together, and I feel like our trust in each other really grew through this trot pole class, which I find to be quite hilarious because at home we're schooling up to 2.9. So, but he just really, once he figured out, oh, I just have to do what we do at home, but do it out here in this arena, it was like, it's just a light bulb moment for him. So he was super steerable. He was so good. And when I came down the last line towards the end gate, I was like almost crying because I was just so proud of him and so happy that the day prior, and honestly the 2 shows prior to this, he just was a nutbag. And then going out here, it just took him a couple more moments of exposure, and then having a very, very, very simple ask of him that he could easily say yes to and not be too worried about. So I'm super proud of him, and the photographer got a really nice picture of us coming out of the ring, and so I'm definitely going to buy it and print it because this was a really big milestone for us in our career together. Okay, and then the last two were the crossrail classes. Since the trot poles went pretty okay, we were like, let's just try to trot the crossrails. So I think the first one was the Eck and the second one was the Hunters. I didn't care. I was just using them as schooling rounds to get 2 courses in. So I'll let you guys watch this. This went a lot better than Saturday, and he was pretty honest to all the fences through the whole course, through both courses. So I'm really, really proud of him. I'm really glad that we did this show. I almost scratched it, like I said, on Saturday. I was just so embarrassed and frustrated and angry and sad, and I just really didn't want to subject us again to doing more. But he just really stuck it out and really figured out how to do everything, and I just am so proud of him. He's actually changed at home now. He's very, very confident at home and doesn't seem to get quite as upset about things and is trying more. So I feel like this show experience really helped him gain a lot of confidence. So I'm really proud of him, and I'm proud of the work that I've put into him, honestly. And I'm looking forward to our next show. Our next show is just going to be a hunter pace, but I am looking forward to going to it. And I'm really happy with how our little limited showing this summer, the show season, ended up.